it's Nina Carmichael, and we made these videos. It's because you're probably the most ambitious person in your circle, but you know you're capable of more, and get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael. Learn the secret entrepreneur success formula. Enjoy. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Do what you love.
I'm going to teach you the entrepreneur success formula. This is the formula. It's very simple. It's easy to apply. That when you actually execute it, it will change the course of your life and your business. The entrepreneur success formula. Are you ready? You need to, if you want to have success as an entrepreneur, combine what you love doing with what brings value to other people. People mess this up. What you love doing with what brings value to other people. In that intersection is your next great, genius, amazing business idea. Here's what most people do. Most people just pick one. Most people either pick what they love doing, but they can't figure out how to bring value to other people. So you've got a hobby. If you love doing something, it just fills you up. It's amazing, but it never brings value to other people, then you never get paid. You've got a really fulfilling hobby. And that could be great. And your hobby can be something you do in the evenings and weekends, and it fills up your soul, but you'll never turn that into a business if you don't figure out how to bring value to other people. So you're stuck always having to have a job or go work for somebody else while you're doing your hobby on the weekends, evenings, on the side, etc. So those are the people who just chase what they love doing, right? They chase your passion. Amazing. There's other people, a lot of entrepreneurs who just go after the money. Just try to bring value. Just go after opportunity, right? That's the only focus. Like, I'll do whatever it takes. I need to be a millionaire by the time I'm X years old. I'll do whatever it takes, but you won't. You will not do whatever it takes. Because as soon as it gets hard, you're going to lose. And the problem is you're going up against people who love it. Pick whatever industry. You open up a magazine or website. It shows you the hottest businesses for next year. These are the industries that will take off, and you have to get into it. It's like, oh, wow, that's hot. I'm going to go off and do those things. If you don't absolutely love it, right? This part here, if you don't actually love it, what you love doing, what it brings value to other people, if you don't absolutely love it, you're going to lose because you're going up against people who do love it. If it's just a strategy for you, but for other people, they love it, you're going to lose every time. You're going to lose every time. Because while you're counting the hours and while you're trying to figure out, oh my gosh, when is this going to pay off? You're going up against people who aren't even tracking it, who get lost in it, who 12 hours later, they're still doing a thing because they love it so much and they can't believe that, like, where is the time gone? So it has to be in that combination. So many entrepreneurs start a business because they think they're going to make a lot of money and they end up going broke. And it wasn't because the idea was bad. The idea could have been fantastic. The problem was you didn't love it enough. You didn't care about it enough. It was just a strategy. It was just an opportunity for you instead of being actually something that you love. So the entrepreneur success formula, you start with doing what you love, and then you figure out how to bring value to other people doing it. Another way I like to explain it is your heart and your head. So you make the big decisions in life with your heart and the small ones with your head. What you work on, what you do, what you're spending your time on day in, day out has to be heart driven. It's got to be something that fills you up with so much joy. But then your head needs to be part of the equation too, to say, okay, heart, that's great that you love doing this thing, but how are we going to make money? How are we going to bring value to other people? So you make the big decisions with your heart. And then you use your head to figure out how to make it actually practical. So you're not just daydreaming constantly in la la land. We're actually turning it into something that can have a massive impact on the world. The entrepreneur success formula. You got to do what you love and figure out a way to bring value to other people doing it. When I started making my YouTube channel, I never thought I was going to make money. I did it because I love doing it. I did it because I wanted visual content. I'm a visual learner. I struggled in reading books. It took me a long time. When I read a book, unless it's really short chapters and really spaced out well, I would find myself reading 5 pages of the book and then realizing I read 5 pages and I have no idea what I just read. So I had to go back and read those 5 pages again. I would look how long a chapter was and see, oh my gosh, it's 40 pages, this chapter is gonna kill me. I read because I needed to, because I wanted knowledge, but it was a really inefficient way for me to learn. I'm a visual learner. I like to see things. And so I said, well, why hasn't somebody made this? And I wanted to be around successful, famous entrepreneurs because I didn't have anybody in my life who had achieved what I wanted to achieve. And so that was the root of why I started making my videos and my content. And before YouTube, I had my website, which was similar idea of sharing the stories of famous entrepreneurs and what you can learn from their success. So I did it for myself and then figured out how can I do this so that I can make money doing it, so that I can do this as my full-time thing, so that I can recruit a team of people to help me do this. So now we've got a team of people who are all building these channels with me so I can create even more impact and make even more videos. The combination led first with what I love doing. I want to create content that speaks to 19-year-old Evan who is struggling, who doesn't know what to do, who was making $300 a month, was broke, who wanted to do something big but had very little belief in himself and didn't have a plan for what to do next. I still make my videos for 19-year-old Evan. And I had to figure out a way to turn it into a profitable business so that I can have a bigger reach and be able to do this full-time plus and have a team to help me do it. Entrepreneur Success Formula, what you love doing with what brings value to other people. Okay, so how do we do it? How do we start to figure out that process? That's an easy formula, but underneath it, let's dive a little deeper to give you even more value. Step number 1 is embrace the and. Most people are thinking or. Most people are thinking, do I do this or do I do this? Do I do this business or do this business? If you think about your passions and your interests, right? What do you love doing? What's your heart-centered thing that you could do all day? You probably have a couple things and you feel like you have to pick. This is the mistake. People feel like you have to pick. You don't have to pick. The actual selection is in doing both of those things combined. A lot of people have said some amazing things of me. It's very humbling. I think of Ed Milet and Gary Vee, where Gary Vee called me the DJ that likes to watch so much content and then spin it to inspire people. And Ed Milet said that I'm the modern day Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill is the biggest influence of all time in personal development, and I'm the modern day Napoleon Hill. First off, that's extremely humbling, but why are they saying that? This is how I'm unique. Because I love consuming all of this stuff and I love spinning it and mixing it up as well as adding my own message to things. This is how I'm different. There's a lot of people who are just sharing their message and there's a lot of people who are also mixing things together, but there's nobody who's really mixing things together and sharing their own message, right? So instead of looking at those two things as different, right? Like I have to pick, I got to pick this or this. Like I'm going to combine them and that's how I'm going to be unique. So think about your different interests. What do you love doing? What are your top 2-3 things that you can get lost in? And they feel completely different. Your genius is going to be in actually mixing those things together in a way that's never been done before, and then using that to bring value to people. Stop thinking or, and instead embrace the and. Step number 2 is try to get as close to customers as possible. So it's great to be making, it's great to be creating, it's great to be, imagineering of where you could go. When you start to solve the problem for yourself, that's a great step 1, because there's probably a lot of people who currently are who you used to be, and seeing how you solved it for yourself, sharing the videos. I need the videos for myself, and then I share them and it helps other people, right? So I solve the problem for me first, you solve the problem for you first. I know there's lots of people like you, but you need to start talking to customers. You need to start getting their feedback. You need to start seeing what they interact with. And that can help guide a lot of your future product or service creation. You need to get out of just sitting by yourself on your couch researching and into actually talking to people. So a quick example from my channel, the whole top 10 rules for success thing came because I just made one video on Kanye West. That's why he's on the wall behind me. I made one video on him, and then people started requesting more. Hey, can you do Dame Dash? Hey, can you do Jay-Z? Hey, can you do Jeff Bezos? Hey, can you do Steve Jobs? Hey, can you do these people? And it's like, well, that's a cool idea. Sure, why not? I could do that. I never thought of it as being a whole series. I just wanted to give a tribute to Kanye West, and it was a one-off video. And then in the videos that people were suggesting, can you do this person, this person, this person, this person? I still get final say. We ended up having over 2,000 different requests for people to profile. I still get final say as to who we profile, because I have to feel connected to the message. And when I'm pulling out the content, if we're doing Kanye West or Steve Jobs, it's always something positive. It's always through a lens of belief, because that's what I want to put out. I don't want to put out Kanye West's biggest attacks or insults or negativity. I don't want to put out negativity in the world. I could easily done top 10 Kanye West stupidest things you've ever done. I'm not interested in putting that out. So it's that combination of what people are asking for. Hey, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? Plus what I love doing, right? What I want to put my stake in the ground to say, I made this, right? This is the contribution that I'm trying to make to the world. Back to the entrepreneur success formula, right? What you love doing with what brings value to other people. So how to figure out what brings value to other people? You have to get as close to the customer as possible. Understand their business, understand what they're going through, understand their mindset. You solving the problem for yourself is a good first step. And then going into, okay, what are you struggling with? So number 1 is embrace the end. Number 2 is get as close as possible to the customer. And then number 3 is solve a problem. Solve a problem. As you're talking to customers, as you're talking to people who will be using your product or your service, who will be engaging with your content, as you're talking to these people, what is the problem that they're facing? What is the struggle? What is the challenge that they're facing? And then help them accomplish it. If I apply it to myself and the YouTube channels for context, one of the biggest challenges I think people have is a very poor environment. You've got people in your life who keep you where you are. Some people may be telling you that you can't do things. That's the worst case scenario. Some people might be cheering you on, but they can't guide you. You're not inspired by them. The people around you are not inspiring enough for you. And that's why you're stuck, because the environment is keeping you small. Where if you are around higher achievers, if you're around Tom Bilyeu and Oprah Winfrey and Elon Musk and these people, they would pull you to be better. And so that's the biggest problem that I see the entrepreneurs that I love helping. Is you know you're capable of more. You've got this big mission inside you. You've got the heart and the care and the willingness to serve. You've got everything, but you're not being pulled forward by anybody. And so I want to try to create that through content, because you may not be able to hang out with Tom Bilyeu and Elon Musk and Oprah Winfrey, but every day on YouTube, you can hang out with Tom Bilyeu, Elon Musk, and Oprah Winfrey from the content that I'm going to make and create, right? So that's the problem that I'm trying to solve. And I get that because it was me who struggled with it, but also the people that I see who I connect with, who are watching the videos, they're leaving feedback for me. And I'm talking to them and I realize you've got everything. You've got everything. You've got everything. You're just missing that environment to push you forward. So that's the problem that I solve. What is the problem that you solve? When you can combine your passions, right? Step number 1, you're combining your passions. Step number 2 is we're talking to customers, people who are going to use potentially what we can create. And then you're understanding what their problem is and you solve it for them. That's how we start to build a successful business. Back to the entrepreneur success formula. If you get this formula, if you apply it, it's simple, it's basic, and it's one of the most powerful things you can ever do. And it's one of the biggest reasons why entrepreneurs don't win, despite having the heart and the care and the service. You have to combine the thing that you love doing with all your heart with something that brings value to other people. Bring those things together and you're onto your next successful business career. Good luck.
Rule number 2, be your biggest critic and fan.
I think judging yourself is actually great. I think you need it. I think it's healthy. I think people should be harder on themselves. The problem is people can't handle being even a little bit harder on themselves because they're already at the point of being depressed or even suicidal. The secret starts with self-love. Your self-love has to equal your self-criticism. You have to be your biggest fan as well as your biggest critic. The root problem isn't judging yourself, it's not loving yourself. One of the challenges I think of being human is we are social animals. We're social creatures. We rely on each other. We need each other. We want to belong. We want to be part of tribes. We want to do things together, right? We want to be around other people. So that makes us want to fit in. And that makes us play small, worry about what people think about us, because if we don't do the thing that they want us to do, they might judge us and kick us out of the tribe. The good news is there's so many different tribes you can do now, right? There's so many different people that it may not be your friends that you have right now. It may not be your parents or your family or your community right now. But whatever you want to do, there is a group of people who believe the same things you believe, who think the same way you think. And I think one of the healthiest things that you can do is whenever you feel the eyes of potential judgment for something that you want to do, you have to go off and do it just to show yourself. And so I look at my own story as an example. I'm about to go off and do this tour. We're doing 3 months on the road, 22 cities, and to up the game, to make it even more scary or different or interesting is we're gonna be doing 8 to 12 hours of live streaming every day. So every day while I'm on the tour, we have 3 modems with us. Let me show you. So Ray on my team is gonna be carrying this backpack around for 3 months. And in here, there's 3 different modems, there's batteries, there's a whole bunch of stuff, and there's this I think it's okay. There's this camera there's this camera that's going to be, you know, attached to the shoulder. He's going to be holding it around. We can plug the microphone in. Anyway, 8 to 12 hours a day, every day for 3 months. We're going to be live streaming it. If you're a member of the channel, you can get access to it. Membership costs, I think $4.99 a month. So you can get on, and it's scary for me because there's no hiding, right? There's no hiding. Even in these videos, I'm coming, I'm polished, you know, I got my gear on, and I don't know what could go wrong. I don't know what could go wrong. But it's 8 to 12 hours. Can you imagine your entire day, every day being filmed, unedited, just being put up there, and people have the potential to judge? And why I did this was the starting point. Why I decided to go off and make this crazy thing happen was I was recovering from my neck injury. I thought of the idea, and I was trying to do burpees as part of my start to get back into recovery because I broke my neck and couldn't do any activity. I started doing burpees, and I could do like 10 burpees. And then it started hurting. I started getting tired. I hadn't worked out in a while. And I thought, wow, that's so embarrassing. I can't even do 10 burpees. Can you imagine if I'm being filmed for 8 to 12 hours and people are watching me struggle to do 10 burpees? And because that thought even came into my mind, then I had to do it. Then we had to go and say yes to the live stream. And so I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what I'm going to do that I might get judged for. I don't know what I might do that I may not make myself feel proud for. But it's all going to be recorded, and it's all going to be broadcast. And if you're a member, you're going to see the videos. And so whenever you feel the eyes of judgment on you, teach yourself that you step into it, that you do difficult things, that you do it, because the day that you play small based off other people's expectations of you, you're going to lose. So there's a 3-step process I'm going to walk you through that I think will help. Step number 1 is cheer for yourself like you would your favorite sports team. We cheer for sports teams, right? I'm here in Toronto. The Toronto Raptors won the NBA championship not that long ago, and people are freaking out and cheering and celebrating and hugging and kissing and doing parades. How about you do that for yourself? Why don't you cheer for yourself like you would cheer for the Raptors or your favorite basketball team or your favorite baseball or football or whatever team? Cheer for yourself that way. When was the last time you wanted to throw a parade for yourself? You know, you do that, you even talk about that, and the world tries to clap you down, to say that person has such a big ego, right? And whether you make that public or not, at least in your head, you're telling yourself, I'm amazing. See that thing I just did? You know what I just did? That's amazing. Because when you love yourself like that, when you're willing to say, I deserve to have a parade I'm gonna throw myself a parade right now. When you embody that, then you can go way harder on yourself. When you actually believe that, you can go so much harder on yourself. You can say, I suck at whatever, making YouTube videos, at accounting, at piano, at whatever the skill is that you're trying to learn. You're okay saying you suck at it because it's based off a foundation of love. But if you don't have a foundation of love, then you can't handle just a little bit more criticism from anybody else. And so you need to learn to recognize when you did something amazing and cheer for yourself like you would your favorite sports team. Number 2 is you do difficult things. You start building self-love from doing difficult things. If all you did was easy things, you might post about it to Instagram and say, look at what I did, woo. But you don't love it. You don't feel great because you knew it was easy. You can win a race against 3-year-olds and yay, you won a medal, great. But you know that inside you don't feel great about yourself because it was easy. You don't get love by doing easy things. You get self-love by doing difficult things. And so look at the things ahead of you, the ideas that you have, what you want to become. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. And anytime you hear yourself saying, well, it's too hard, it's too difficult, as the reason why you can't do it, that means it's go time again. It's go time. You have to do it because you do difficult things. And if you ever catch yourself saying it, it's go time, and you tell your friends and family around you to say, if you ever hear me say, it's hard, or that's difficult, as the reason why I'm not going to do something, you need to call me out. You need to call me out on it and tell me. And when somebody does call you out on it, then you have to go off and do it. Because you know what? You do difficult things. You love difficult things because everything you want out of life is on the other side of difficult things. And step 3 is tie your self-worth to the effort, not the result. This is one of the biggest things. When you can learn to tie your self-worth to the effort that you are putting in, not the results you are getting, your entire life will change. People tie their self-worth to the results, to winning, to getting the award, to hitting 1 million subscribers, to getting the new book out, right? Just the result, the result, the result. When you tie your self-worth to a result, you only do things where you know you're gonna get a result, and therefore you play small for life. When you tie your self-worth to the effort, to the hard work that you're putting in, to being able to pat yourself on the back, even though you did not get a result, even though you sucked, Because you're going to suck at the beginning. Why do you expect to be great? You're not going to be great. You're going to suck at the beginning. That's okay. That's normal. That's being a human. Amazing. The people who win get up and keep going by tying yourself forward to the effort. Find something every day to pat yourself on the back and say, I'm glad that I tried that thing. You're going to make a video? Great. Your first one's going to be terrible. Post. You tried. Amazing. Next. Because if you woke up every day and you put your best effort in, you're going to accomplish way, 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 way more than if you just tie your self-worth to the results that you're trying to get. The problem isn't judgment. The problem is loving yourself. Apply those 3 things. You'll love yourself more. Your life will change. Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, the science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action for you to shift that habit forward. So I've designed a special free program to help you get more self-belief for every day. For 254 days, I will send you an email to an unlisted video that if you watch it, will shift your confidence forward. The links to join for free are in the description below.
So you have to really want to do it. If it's a bucket list thing that you have to do and you're deeply passionate about it, you have a message that you want to share, or this needs to come out, right? You need to give birth to this thing. It's that important to you. Then you should go out and do it.
1, pick the right things to work on, and then 2, focus on executing those things.
4 years, I'm making videos every day. And I'm impatient as anything because I want it to be amazing. I want to make every video better than the last.
Rule number 3, leave your comfort zone.
Every day there's a battle raging inside you. The battle is between the comfort version of yourself and the growth version of yourself. The comfort you wants to be comfortable, doesn't want to push, wants to stay where you are. It's difficult, it's scary out there. Let's stay warm and comfortable. And the growth version of you wants to grow, wants to learn, wants to develop, wants to progress, wants to serve, wants to help. And doing that requires having courage, boldness, and jumping into the unknown. And it's a daily battle. It's a daily battle that never goes away, and you have to choose who consistently is going to win. And those daily battles are not won by doing the big heroic once a year things. It's won by doing the daily things, the daily small things that shift your identity forward to teach yourself that you're the growth kind of person and not the comfort kind of person. The first time I met Brendon Burchard was at his event at growth.com. I was speaking in Phoenix. It was his event. I was one of 2 guest speakers. It was him and his partner speaking, and then me and Eric Thomas. And his business partner invited me to come and speak and flew me down there. And I'd never met Brendon before. I knew of him, obviously, but I never met him face to face. And when I met him, he came backstage. I think it was the day before I was going to go speak, and I met him backstage, and he said, "Hey, I can't wait to see you on stage. I almost never bring on guest speakers who I haven't seen speak before, but you came highly recommended by my business partner, so let's do this. And I'm going to watch your speech and see what you do. I have a TV interview that I'm doing, and I'm going to pause that and make sure I'm done so I can watch your speech." So in my head, there's a lot of stress and pressure. 1, I'd never met Brendon before. 2, there's a couple thousand people out there in the audience. And 3, usually when speakers are on stage, the other speakers aren't super paying attention. You know, they're backstage in their own world doing their own thing. But Brendon was going to end his interview to make sure that he was going to watch my speech. And so he was adding all this extra pressure on me. This is the battle of growth versus comfort, of growth Evan versus comfort Evan. My biggest fear is disappointing people. I don't want to disappoint him. I don't want to disappoint the person who paid me to be there. I don't want to disappoint the couple thousand people in the audience. And so we go through these moments where the comfort you takes over. The comfort you wants to play small, wants to quit, wants to back down, wants to find an out, wants to find an excuse for why you can't do something. And the growth you is struggling for control. There's 2 things that I do that help growth Evan come out. And I want you to internalize them, to apply them, to use them, because if you can use these 2 strategies, it can massively shift your identity forward, help you become the growth version of you instead of the comfort version of you, and start giving you the results you want, as well as a more purposeful, happy life of service. 2 things. First one, take on the identity that you do difficult things. You do difficult things. that if something is scary, difficult, or hard, that it's not a good enough reason. That you do scary, you do difficult, you love hard. And so I use those as triggers. And why it's important is you shortcut the thinking pattern. Every time that you say that it's scary, that it's difficult, that it's hard, or whatever words that you use that give yourself a break, that let yourself off the hook, use those as trigger words. That the fact that you said it means you have to do it. The fact that you said it, you thought it, you wrote it, means you have to do it just because. What it does is it shortcuts the excuse, because what normally happens is you say, well, that's too difficult. You've accepted that difficult is a good enough reason for you to play small. You don't go and do the thing. You've accepted then the excuses that come into your head of why you can't do it. And they're not, you don't call them excuses, you call them reasons, right? Logical, valid reasons why you can't do it. I want to shortcut all that. I don't want to even allow you to go there, because I don't allow myself to go there. The fact that I said scary, difficult, hards mean I have to do it. So find your trigger words. You can use mine as a starting point if you want, but find your trigger words, and that becomes your new identity. You want to take on the identity that you do difficult things, that you jump into the unknown, that those are no longer good enough reasons for you. And so I did this when I was backstage, when my heart's beating, I forgot what I was gonna say going on stage. Like in the moments leading up to going on stage, I forgot what I was gonna say. I have no slides either on stage, right? I don't go with a PowerPoint presentation. There's one slide that just has my name and face on it. That's it, no slides. As if I forget what I'm gonna say, kind of screwed. So breathe. Evan Carmichael does difficult things. I do difficult things, right? You remind yourself. But what that does is put you into a more resourceful state to go and actually solve the problem. So that's step one. You do difficult things. And again, it's not just the big hero moments, it's the micro. There's difficult things that have happened already today that you have not done what you need to do. Because it was difficult and you gave yourself an out. Go do it. What that does for your self-love, for your self-pride, for your self-respect, for your self-confidence is incredible. And you need to give yourself that gift. I want you to give yourself that gift every day of doing a difficult thing. And for you, something that's difficult may seem trivial or small for somebody else. When I broke my neck and was struggling with a concussion, getting out of bed was difficult. Just getting out of bed and putting my feet on the ground and standing up was incredible pain through my spine. Incredible pain, which is something I take for granted now, but that was difficult. And so when those things happen, you pat yourself on the back. You did it. You did the difficult thing. So that's step number one. You do difficult things. The second mindset shift is leaning into service. It's not even about you. Newsflash, it's not about you. You're here to serve. You're here to help. For all the ambitions that you have for yourself, whatever the thing is that you're afraid to do, usually the thing we're afraid to do is in front of somebody else. You're not afraid of failing, you're afraid of failing and who's gonna see you fail, right? You will sing in the shower, but you won't sing on the street corner. Why? People will film videos at their home, but not film it on the street where people can see them because you're afraid of being watched. You're not afraid of failing, you're afraid of failing in front of other people. You need to stop being selfish, get out of your own head, and recognize that you're here to serve. You're here to help. You've got a message, knowledge, information that can help people. And by you playing small, you're doing a disservice to them and to yourself. And so that's the other thing that I'll lean into is, yeah, Evan Carmichael does difficult things, but also I'm here to serve. And so when I'm backstage and I know Brendan's gonna watch me, and I know thousands of people are watching me, and I'm afraid of disappointing everybody, I look out into the audience, and instead of seeing 2,000 people who are here to judge me and I'm gonna disappoint them, I'm here looking at them saying, I have a message that can help them. I'm here to serve them. Because what I'm gonna share, Brendan doesn't know. Eric Thomas doesn't know. The other speakers here, his partners, they don't know. I can share something unique that can help them, and my intention is good. I'm here to help these people, not rip them off, not lead them down a dark path. I'm here to help them. And that, again, shifts how you feel about yourself, to give you the courage, the boldness, the motivation, the power to go and then do the thing that the growth version of you needs. That's how you get out of the comfort zone. That's how you get out of comfort you, scared you, small you, into powerful you, bold you, courageous you, growth you. Number one, you do difficult things. Anytime you find yourself complaining, scary, difficult, hard, negative, you do difficult things. And number two, you're here to serve. You're here to serve, you're here to help, you're trying to do good, and keeping your gifts to yourself is selfish, and you have to share it and get it out there. Those two things on a daily basis, every single day. That's that battle raging inside your head between the growth you and the comfort you. And my ambition, my intention, my goal for you is to have growth you win a little bit more than comfort you. It's not going to be 100% growth you. There's no way that's going to happen. Don't make that perfection the bar. It's that every day growth you wins at least 51% of the battles versus comfort you. You do that, your life will change.
Rule number 4, compare yourself to others.
I think comparing yourself to others is actually fantastic. I think most people aren't even doing it enough. The challenge is people do it incorrectly. The problem is people compare themselves to others as a way to kick themselves down. You look at somebody else who's done a lot more than you, and you say, wow, they're so much better than me. I can never do it. And that's kicking yourself down. What you need to do, you flip it and say, wow, that person has done so much. That's what's possible. I'm comparing my beginning to their middle or to their end, which is an unfair comparison. They can get there, therefore I can go chase my dreams down as well. That's a kick forward. Most people kick themselves down. What you need is to kick forward. But without the kick, you stay stuck. So if you want to stay exactly where you are, don't compare yourself to anybody. You want to move forward, compare yourself in a loving way forward. This is a classic story of Roger Bannister, who broke the 4-minute mile, where it was supposed to be impossible to break the 4-minute mile. Nobody was ever supposed to be able to do it. And then he did it. And everybody thought your body would break down and that it just would never, ever, ever happen. And then Roger Bannister did it. And then what happened? Lots of other people did it. High school kids did it. People around the world have done it. Why? Because they saw somebody else do it. When you can compare yourself to somebody else and see that they can do it, that can be the inspiration to move yourself forward. Again, the kick forward. If you just look at that and say, wow, he's superhuman, I can never do it, then you're right, you stay stuck. But some people, the people who go off and win, the people who also have a happier life, look at that and say, I can do something similar. And people did. I actually heard about that Roger Bannister story through Les Brown. And when people ask me, who is my favorite motivational speaker, or who do you think is the greatest speaker of all time? I say Les Brown. I don't know who touches Les Brown. I mean, there's so many great speakers, so many amazing people out there. I've had the good fortune of connecting with a lot of them. But man, Les Brown, when he gets on a tear, it's something different. He takes you to a different world. And I remember when I first heard him, it's like, holy cow, this guy is so good. And it was at the start of my career of filming videos and making content. And I thought, how does he know those scripts, and how does he memorize those lines, and how does he just speak for an hour and not need notes or a PowerPoint or anything else? Like, this man is crazy. It's impossible. I could never get that good. And I used to compare myself in a negative way. Like, I could never be Les Brown. And then somewhere along the line, I flipped it to say, hey, I'm getting better. And I love what Les is doing, because he's actually guiding the industry, because it's actually showing what's possible. That if he can do it, then I can do it too. He's actually paving the way for people like me to come up and be speakers as well. And I actually had the good fortune of last week being on a Facebook Live with him, where he was interviewing me about my story. Like, what? Les Brown is interviewing me about my story? This is crazy. How did this happen? Because I used him as an inspirational kick forward. See, if you never see anybody who's like you doing it, it's really, really hard to get up and do. If you're the only person that you know in your family, and the only person that you know in your community, and the only person that you see online anywhere trying to do the thing that you want to do, it's really, 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 really hard to stay motivated. But when you can see somebody else, when you can model success, when you can have an example to follow, I think that makes the path easier, because it gives you more hope, knowing that it's possible. The trick is, again, the key is, again, that in the comparison to somebody else, you're kicking yourself forward to say that's what's possible, not down to say I suck. So how do you do it? I'm going to give you 3 steps I think will really help. Step number 1 is really get clear on what is it that you want. What is the life that you want? What are the goals that you have for yourself? Where do you want to be in your health, in your relationships, in your business, your finances? What do you actually want out of life? Not what somebody else's perfect life looks like. Right? You go on Instagram and you see people living on the beach and rolling around in money. Like that, maybe that's what you want, but maybe it's not what you want. Right? We get pulled into all these different directions because we don't have clarity over what we actually want. So what do you actually want? What do you want out of life? Where do you want your business to be? What kind of company do you want to run? What are the ethics and morals that your company is based off of? Who do you want to serve and how do you want to help them? How do you want to show up in your relationship? Who are you looking for in your partner? If you already have a partner, how do you want to show up better for them? All of the things that matter to you, to get as clear as possible so that when you see somebody else is doing something else and they're happy, great. You don't have to go do it because you're happy chasing down your goals. Part of the challenge is we see other people who are happy, and often it's not even real happiness. It's just, fake happiness for the camera. But you see somebody who looks happy, you know that you're not happy, and you think, well, maybe if I did that, then I'll be happy. Maybe if I go write a poem like they did, I'll be happy. And then you start to write a poem and realize I hate writing poems. Right? So it's getting clear over what do you actually want in your life? Who's the person that you want to be? And again, from your finances to your business, to the relationships, to your to health, the different areas of your life. Get as clear as you can on the things that you want out of your life. Step number 2 is figure out who's done it. Who's ahead of you in these things? One of the greatest lessons I've ever learned is that you can model success. That when you don't know what to do, somebody has done this before you. Somebody has figured this out. You don't have to come up with every genius idea yourself. This is the thing that ended up growing my business, my first company. When I wanted to quit on my business partner, I tried so many different things on my own, and they never seemed to work. But once I had a model, once I had a mentor, once I had a guide, once I had a path to follow, it became so much easier and I got success. Or looking at my YouTube channel, spending 5 years on my own trying to figure stuff out. Then once I got my agent who gave me some coaching on being better on camera, my channel started to take off, right? So without the model, I really struggled. With the model, I did really well. So for all the areas of your life that you want to fix, who's done it? And here's the key. There's no one person who's done everything. And I've got all these people behind me on the wall. This is me here when I'm 8 or 9 years old and my parents behind me. And then I've got different people on my wall for different things. If I look at being a good father, right? I've got a 12-year-old son. How do I be a great father? I want to be a great father like my dad is. And I don't want to be a great father like Steve Jobs is because it didn't sound like he was a great dad. He had a lot of other great things. He was a great visionary, and I want to be a great visionary like Steve Jobs, but my father's not really a great visionary. So you're pulling different things from different people. One of the mistakes we make is you're looking for the perfect mentor to teach you everything. And when they have one flaw, we suddenly feel cheated or gypped or ripped off or deflated. Nobody's perfect. We're all in search of our own perfect life. And you'll be able to get that by pulling different people for different things. So once you've made your list of all the things that you want out of your life, then go find your different mentors and role models for those things. If you want more belief in your life, great. Watching my channel is probably going to really, really help you. If you want more fitness in your life, great. There's other channels you can subscribe to, right? If you want a better love and relationship, great. There's other channels you subscribe to for that, or books or podcasts that you can be around. That the more that you're around it, the more that it's part of your environment, you're going to start to take those messages in and it's going to become a part of you. You're going to think the way those people think and you're going to get closer to actually achieving those goals. And then step number 3 is do something today. Do something today. We get trapped into overthinking and over-preparing and having the perfect schedule and the perfect plan. And it almost never works out, right? Your plan for what you were supposed to do a year ago is not the plan that you're doing right now. The perfect plan that you're trying to concoct in your head will never actually be the perfect plan until you get out there and you start executing and trying. So the biggest thing that you can teach yourself is just start building momentum. Start taking some immediate action. You've created a list of all the things that you want out of your life. You've identified your role models of who you want to learn from to help you go get it. And now 3, you got to do something about it. You got to take some kind of action on it. If you've got a health goal, great. Do 4 push-ups. Maybe you can only do 2. Do 2 push-ups. great. Some of you might be laughing. Say only 2 push-ups. Great. Do 20 push-ups. Do 100 push-ups. It doesn't matter. Is it the perfect fitness plan? No. Will it actually help you build your muscles? No, not from those 2 push-ups. But what does it do? It starts the ball rolling. It starts to rewire your brain to tell yourself that you're the kind of person who takes action. And that makes a big, 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 big difference. Because what's going to happen tomorrow is you're more likely to wake up and do it again. Because you've already started to teach yourself that you're the kind of person who follows through. Where if you just research and create a plan, tomorrow you're going to wake up and probably do no push-ups. Because you realize, oh, that was a silly plan. I can't do that. You're back to who you used to be. And then you don't follow through. So the most important thing, once you identify, you get a little bit of clarity, is to take some immediate action, no matter how small, no matter how insignificant it may feel. You want to build a YouTube channel? Great. Pull out your phone, make a video. What are you going to say? It doesn't matter. Say, I'm working on starting a YouTube channel. I don't know what I'm going to post, but I hope you join me in this journey. Great. Post. The first step doesn't matter how big it is. All that matters is that you took a step.
Rule number 5, the last one before our very special bonus clip, structure your life.
Most people never hit their goals because they don't structure their life towards actually accomplishing those goals. You can say that you want something. You can say that this is your ambition and your goal, but unless it's in your calendar, unless you start actually working towards it, you're never going to accomplish it. Dreams stay dreams because there is no momentum. Let's talk about how to get it. One of the common questions I get asked when I'm doing my live stream, when I'm doing my interviews, when I'm doing my tour, my stops, people almost always will ask me, how many hours sleep do you get? When you go to bed, when you get up, how much do you sleep every night? Right now, I'm sleeping 9 hours a day. I sleep 9 hours. I did a sleep study. I was sleeping around 8 and was still tired when I woke up. And so I went and did an overnight sleep study, and they told me, I'm looking for the hack. I'm like, hey, you're deficient in magnesium, so just take these and you can sleep 7 and be normal. He said, no, nothing wrong with you. You just need to sleep 9 hours a night. That's healthy for you. I was like, what? That's healthy? Are you kidding me? What are you talking about? Nobody sleeps 9 hours a night. He's like, yeah, between 6 and 10 is actually, that's the normal range. The whole 8 hours a night is a myth. So I felt bad, and I'm still trying to hack it. So I sleep 9 hours a night. I don't wake up to an alarm. And people assume that I'm only sleeping 3, 4, or 5 hours a night because of how productive I am during the day. This is it, right? You could sleep 12 hours a night and crush it in the other 12 hours. Most people default to thinking they need to wake up an hour early. Say, well, if I wake up at 5 a.m. or at 4 a.m., I'm going to be more productive. If you are not productive for 16 hours a day, then adding an extra hour to that's not going to make you that much more productive. The problem isn't what time you wake up. The problem is what you're doing with the hours that you're awake. And so as much as possible, what I try to do is make every second intentional. I'm not always able to achieve that, especially not every second, but I try to make everything intentional. I try to make where I'm spending time is intentional. I'm in the present. I'm not thinking about something else. I'm here with you guys making this video right now. All I think about is this video that I'm making for you right now. Where's Nina right now? I don't know. Where's my cell phone? Well, it's right here because I can see it. But where are my keys? I don't know. Where are my dogs? I don't know. What am I doing after this? I have no idea. I'm focused and I'm with you right now. Most people live in the past. Most people are thinking about what could have been. Most people are regretting the decisions that they made, and they're procrastinating because they're afraid of doing things, because they don't want to do things. All things that prevent you from actually doing. That's the biggest problem. You're a genius. You're the best in the world at something. You can go off and make amazing things. The problem is your time is not being used efficiently. It's not being used effectively either. You haven't structured your life to help you accomplish your goals. Look at your big goals. Look at your big goals. Like, what's the next big goal that you have for yourself? You may not have one. If you don't have one, then you got to figure out what your purpose is, because that's the greatest thing of all time, right? Get the book, Built to Serve. You'll figure it out. You'll be ignited. But your next big goal, now look at your calendar. Are you aligning what's in your calendar, your daily habits, towards you accomplishing your goals? And for most people, it's no. Or you have it listed, but you're not doing it because you look at it and you get afraid and you procrastinate on it. So trying to cut that down to almost zero. Even before making these videos, before making Espresso videos, I have a couple minutes of procrastination. I go and make sure I get my water. I go and maybe have a keto bar, just pacing around a little bit because I'm nervous about making the videos, because I want them to be the best videos that I've ever made. It's always my intention. But too many people live in hours or days or months of procrastination instead of doing it. You get the results by doing it. It's the only way. You will never get the results by just thinking about it. You can be motivated, amazing. You can have the mindset, awesome. That's half the equation. The other half is doing. You have to actually just go out there and do. You need to structure your life to allow you to accomplish your goals. I'm going to give you a 3-step process that will help. Step number 1 is start with the mission and work backwards. So the mission is lifetime. The mission is lifetime, not what specifically you're going to be doing, but your purpose comes from your pain. We've talked about that a lot on this channel. I love helping entrepreneurs because I struggled so much as an entrepreneur. Whoever you used to be, where you struggled and felt the most worthless, you will love helping those people for the rest of your life. That will never get old. How you do it will change a lot. Right now I'm doing it through YouTube videos, I'm doing it through books, I'm doing it through my tours, all of that. But it's gonna change. In 10 years, it'll be different. Maybe YouTube's not around. Maybe people don't have paper books anymore. There's gonna be lots of changes that come. But that mission, that purpose will never change. It will never change. And when you figure out what it is for you, it will never change as well. So start with your mission and then you start working backwards. Step number 2 is understand that your success is habits. Your success is habits. What you do on a regular basis is what you're going to accomplish. You can eat a chocolate bar and be on a diet and not get fat. But if you eat a chocolate bar every day, you're gonna get fat. You're not on a diet anymore. Similarly, if you eat salad once a week, it's not enough, right? You are what you consistently do. Your success comes from doing habits. And entrepreneurs are typically great starters, but not great at being consistent. And that's the problem. Working your face off for a 48-hour stretch isn't gonna do anything for you. It's every single day working, even if it's only an hour a day. That dream that you have, that business that you wanted to start, that business that you want to take to the next level, it could be there. It could have been there already. It could have been there already. The problem is you've been sitting on that idea for 3 months, 6 months, 4 years without doing enough on it. Little tiny starts, it's not enough. Every day, I'm talking every single day, making progress towards you actually accomplishing that thing. You want that life? You have to do it every day. And step number 3 is no 10-year goals. Now, what was interesting in this video is Jordan first talks about having a 3-year goal for yourself. And then he said for himself, he can't plan for more than 6 months because his life is too chaotic and too much stuff going on. I think that's actually the sign of a healthy life. Like, there's no way you know where you're gonna be in 3 years. There's no way you're gonna know where you're gonna be in 10 years. That's crazy. But 3 years is crazy too. There's no way. I'm about to leave on my tour from January to April 2020, and I'm gonna come back a different person. In April, I'm gonna be a different person than when I left, when I'm about to leave, coming up now, right? So I don't know what I'm gonna be doing after that. I have no idea. I mean, it's still gonna be within the confines of my mission, right? I'm still gonna be doing work to help entrepreneurs. So maybe I come back and say, I don't wanna do YouTube anymore. That's it, I'm done. Enjoy these last videos, and I'm gonna move on and do something else, right? So I don't think you can have an accurate 3-year plan. Don't even try. People get stressed out about having the perfect 3-year plan. There's no way. Like, if you hate your 3-year plan, you're thinking small. The idea, like, think of who you were 3 years ago, right? Let alone 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Just take 3 years ago. Who you were 3 years ago. Could you accurately predict where you are right now? There's no way. Not if you're growing. Like Jordan said, he starts off saying 3-year plan and then goes down and says, well, I can only do 6 months. I think that should be normal. Like, I think 6 months should be the very end. 6 months should be the very upper limit. If you're growing, if you're learning, if you're investing into yourself. But if you are a different person than you were 3 years ago, what makes you think with any degree of confidence that you're gonna be able to predict your life 3 years out? There's no way. You can't. So don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. Don't sit there and have this plan for the next 3 years. You're not gonna hit that plan. That's not your goal. Your goal is to move closer to your mission. And you have to be flexible enough to take the opportunities as they come. I was talking to Jeremy, who's working with me on my YouTube business and consulting and coaching people to help them grow. And he was asking me about New Year's resolutions. Like, I don't do New Year's resolutions. You're crazy. You think you know where you're gonna be next year? There's no way. First off, New Year's resolutions I hate because if it's December 22nd and you're setting a New Year's resolution, I think you suck. You're teaching yourself that you suck. You don't suck as a human. The mindset that you're telling yourself is that you suck. Whenever you say, I have a goal that's really important to me, but I'm gonna start it in a week, or I'm gonna start it on Monday, or I'm gonna start it when you've already lost. The mind game here is you suck. That's what you're telling yourself. I suck. The only way through is I'm gonna start today. You wanna start 2020 or next year and have perfect health? Great, you start today. Get on the floor, do 10 push-ups, do whatever max you can do. Eat a salad. Like, you start today, build momentum. You're missing momentum. So he asked me, what's my 2020 resolution? I don't have it. Dude, don't think that way. If I even had an idea for what I was gonna do, I would be doing it right now. Right now. Right now. But then on top of that, like, look at your life. Look at where you were last year. Look at where you were at the start of this year, right? 2019. Where were you at the start of 2019? You were at a grocery store. And then I called you when I was on the road in Texas and said, hey, do you want to start a YouTube consulting business together? And I'll teach you everything I know. You couldn't predict that. You could have had this perfect plan for how you're going to move up and become a manager at this grocery store, right? Instead, now he's running his own business, and he's got a 6-figure business inside of 6 months from not knowing anything about it because of mentorship and training and connections and resources and ideas. And he's getting great results for his clients, right? If you're growing and learning and exposing yourself to new opportunities, you'll be a different, it's like you're shedding your skin and you're a new person every 6 months at the very max. So I agree with Jordan that 6 months should be the max, and that 3 years, don't even try. Don't even worry about it, let alone 5 years, let alone 10 years. Go do you. You're growing, you're learning, you're amazing. Stop trying to plan for where you're gonna be in 10 years. Make it happen today. If you quit on something too soon that you still love, you will regret it for the rest of your life. If you don't love it anymore, quit. Move on. You will never win doing work that you hate. But if you love it, and you move on to something else, you will look back on this day and regret it for the rest of your life that you did not see it through. Most people spend their entire life living with regrets. Don't let that be you. The hardest decision I ever had to make in my life was being an entrepreneur. I struggled a lot with the decision, do I want to be an entrepreneur, and had this opportunity to make $300 a month and earn 30% of a company versus going to work at a job that I thought I wanted, a job that I'd been preparing myself for, that this is what I wanted to do. It was in my high school yearbook of this is where I was gonna be. And here it was, earning 6 figures, traveling around the world, doing the investment banking that I thought I wanted to do, versus making $300 a month and owning 30% of a company. And the thing that allowed me to push through and be an entrepreneur was me saying, I don't want to live with regret. That I would rather know and fail than not know. And I gave myself a year. I said, I'm going to give myself a year to do this. I could always go back and get another job. It may not be the same job. It probably wouldn't be the same job. It may not be as much pay. It may not be traveling as much as this job was offering me to travel. But this entrepreneurial thing, this opportunity that I had, I never knew if it would come back again. Like, I thought maybe this will never happen to me again. And so I decided to go for it. And we struggled and it was hard, but I never ended up having to go back and get another job. And so if you're at an inflection point, if you're thinking about which path should I take, A or B, lean in with your heart. Stop using your head. Your head only understands the world that currently exists. Lean in with your heart and ask yourself, which decision will I regret more if I don't do? And then go take that action. I became an entrepreneur because I didn't want to regret not having at least tried. And a great moment in my life came a number of years later where one of the people I went to university with came back and said, Evan, I went down that path. I became the investment banker and I hate my life. How do I become an entrepreneur? And I looked in his eyes and I saw the desperation and the sadness and helped him, but also was so grateful that that wasn't me, because it could have been. So how do you live a life not filled with regrets? I'm gonna give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Step number 1, ask yourself, do you still love it? If you are making something, if you're in the process of creating your business and it's not getting results, ask yourself, do you still love it? It's easy to keep going when you're making money and everything's working, right? When you're at the high, it's easy to keep going. But when it's not working out, for me, when I was making videos and it wasn't working out, it's hard to build a YouTube channel. In the early days, I kept going because I loved it. Ask yourself, this thing that you're doing every single day, this thing that you're worried about leaving and quitting and giving up on, do you still love the process of it? Not just getting some result, not just making $1 million, not just getting 1 million subscribers, whatever your outcome is, the process, the work. Do you actually love the work? If you do, then you have to keep going. Step number 2, ask yourself, how can you keep going? How can you keep going? How do you keep the momentum going? The biggest thing missing for most people is momentum. You're just not doing enough on a daily basis. You stop and start and stop and start and stop and start, and people give up and they quit too soon before you allow that momentum to grow and to carry you. So how can you keep that momentum going? How can you do something every single day to move your mission a little bit forward? Not taking giant steps, but just a little bit tiny step forward every single day. Even if that means you have to go back and get a job. Even if that means that, listen, maybe you're out of money right now. Maybe you took a bet on entrepreneurship and you tried it for 6 to 9 months and now your bank account is dry because you spent it all. Great. Maybe you have to go back and get another job. One, make sure that that job is something that you're going to learn from, not just make an income from. But then two, make sure that when you're coming home, you're still spending 30, 45, 60, 90, 120 minutes every day. Don't let the momentum stop on your idea. And step number 3 is ask yourself, what will you do to sustain that momentum? What keeps you motivated? What keeps you going? Whether you're having pictures on your wall like I have here, whether it's watching videos like this on my channel every day, listening to a podcast, morning routines, you need to inject that into yourself every day. When you don't see the light, when you're not seeing the results, when it feels like there is no momentum, you need to demand that boldness in you every day. So ask yourself, what is the thing that makes you feel alive, bold, confident, that makes you want to go out and create and build momentum even when you don't see any light around you? What is that thing that you need? And then bring that into your morning routine. Demand that from yourself on a daily basis. Instead of hoping that you wake up all motivated today to go out and do work, successful people demand excellence from themselves on a daily basis because they put something in their morning routine that reminds them of what their mission is and how important it is to move forward. Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video because you are awesome.
If you want to learn how to stop being poor, check out the video next to me. I think you're gonna enjoy. Continue to believe. I will see you there.
The fastest way to change it is to change who you start to associate with. I remember when I first got started on my entrepreneurial career, I always felt like I was kind of a dummy.